Konnichiwa, everybody, and welcome back to another pickups episode. Now, this is going against the grain for me, really. This is a modern pickups video, and just recently, as many of you are probably well aware, just after Christmas I got myself a PS4. I know, cutting edge. 8 or whatever years later, after it came out. But anyway, just recently I've been on a bit of a PS4 kick, and I've been in general, I've been amazed at how many retro style games you can get for the PS4. It's fast becoming one of my favourite consoles, I've got to say. So I am riding that Sony pony at the moment, and I just seem to keep finding more and more retro inspired games on the PS4, and the beauty is that majority are dirt cheap. It's just a win-win at the moment, the PS4 for me. So anyway, I've decided to bunch all these PS4 games together in one episode. So if you're not interested in PS4, I'm sorry, you might want to wait for the next episode, which will be back to more retro console pickups. So yeah, this is solely PS4 games, and they're not like, well, all these games anyway, they're all either retro style games or retro inspired games. I think, with the possible exception of one or two, they've all got a retro theme. I've been so busy lately, what with one thing and another. I've been rearranging the game room, as you can probably see. I've installed the Tate display permanently now. I'm really pleased with that. Had a bit of a change around, as you can see. Vectrex is now up here, and we've also got, in addition to the Tate display, I've moved the 3DO there below the Saturn, and I've moved the Crystal Xbox and the pink PS2, and also the Wii U and the Evercade. So it's all changed around to incorporate the Tate display. But I'm chuffed with that, and as you can see, it's playing Shine on the Saturn. But anyway, back to the PS4. I'll put gameplay videos up when I'm showing these games. I'm not going to sort of dwell on any of them too far, because there's a few to get through. Don't want the video to be too long, so we'll crack on. First one I picked up, Bee Simulator. Now, I've picked this up. I saw, actually, it was Stu, Generation Pixel, who showed this, and it kind of piqued my interest. I don't know why, it's not the kind of game I'd go for, but it just seemed a bit unusual, and I picked it up. And it is unusual, to be fair. You're flying round as a bee, doing all things a bee would do. It's kind of boring, I thought, really, which I suppose is to be expected. But it messed with my head a bit. I suffer terrible with motion sickness, and I found the way it moved around really made me feel sick, so I couldn't stick it for long. And I found the controls a bit weird as well. You go up and down with the L and R triggers, in addition to the dual analog sticks. It was a bit complicated to me, the controls. I felt it could have been a bit easier without the up and down on the L and R triggers. But it's dirt cheap. A CX, I think it's £6, so it was worth trying, and I might go back to it. Next up, all these games are really cheap, by the way. I'd say the vast majority are under £10. So next, these were out of game on the 3 for 2 on the used games. I picked up the two pinball arcade releases, Season 1 and Season 2. These are a bit misleading, I thought. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of pinball. Well, in reality, I don't mind console pinball, but I've never been interested in actual physical pinball tables. But I like a console pinball game like Devil Crash or Pinball Dreams, Illusions, Fantasies, all them kind of things. And these are good, to be fair, but it's a bit misleading in that a lot of the tables you've got to sort of buy DLC. There aren't too many included on the discs, which that's the negative for me. But they play great, and you can alter the camera angle, which helps, I find, and they do look good. There's a large selection you can choose from, but you've got to pay for lots of them, unfortunately. But that said, for the price they go for, if you like pinball, it's a bit of a no-brainer, really. Then this next one, Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn. Now, I really wasn't expecting much from this, to be honest, because the 16-bit ones, are shit. And I thought, well, this is going to be more of the same. But what a pleasant surprise this was. A cracking little walk-along beat-em-up. Looks really good. Obviously, it's retro-inspired. And the added bonus is, I didn't know about it until it was Goldtooth who pointed it out to me, I think. You can download, with the physical version, you get a free download of Barack Fu, which is kind of a Barack Obama type beat 'em up. Obviously it's this same game with Barack Obama characters and setting. But it's really good. Both cracking games, and this was really cheap in game. I'm sure this was $2 or $3.99, I forget now. Dirt cheap. If they've still got it for that kind of price, strongly recommend picking it up if you haven't got this already. Cracking little walk along beat 'em up. In a similar vein, we've got Guilty Gear XRD Rev 2. Now there's a few Guilty Gear games on the PS4. I think is there 3 or 4. But anyway, I'd never remembered playing a Guilty Gear. I think I might have tried it on the Dreamcast way back when, but I couldn't remember anything about it. Looks fantastic, plays good, really good one-on-one fighter. As you'll see from the footage, it looks fantastic and it does play well. So I'm going to be looking to pick up the other Guilty Gears. There's another one which is even cheaper than this in CEX, just for about £6, but there's none in my local ones. And there's a dearer one which I presume is newer, but I'll keep my eyes open for both of them. Don't think you can go wrong for the price, to be honest. Guilty Gear. Now this one is not generally the kind of game I'd play, but I picked this up cheap in Cash Converters. I think it was £6, and we've got The Last Guardian. Now I'm sure most people who've got a PS4 are aware of this. It's the third one in the Ico Shadow of the Colossus trilogy, isn't it? I believe. And yeah, it's just you this sort of boyish character, and you befriend this sort of giant, I don't know what you call it, bird, cat, monster type thing, and it's your adventure with him. Now again, with my motion sickness, I did suffer with this when I played it a bit, but I do like it. So I need to play this in short bursts, but it does seem a cracking game, and the graphics are amazing. They look fantastic. As you'll see, I'll put the footage up, but for £6 I couldn't turn that down, even if I can only play it in sort of short 20-minute bursts. This next one I've never heard of. I happened to see it in game, again really cheap. I think they're selling it for £8 brand new, and that's Songbird Symphony, and it's a pixel art platform game. But it piqued my interest because it said it was a rhythm sort of platform game, which is unusual combination, and it is literally a pixel art platform sort of Metroidvania type game, with elements of a musical rhythm game, like a dance game, where you push button presses in time with the music to perform things, within this sort of platform world. Bit of a strange one, but it's quite good at what I've played so far, which ain't much to be fair. But it is very unusual, and it looks just like a 16-bit, well maybe 8 to 16-bit, pixel art platform game. And again, for the money, I had to try that one. In a similar line, this is really cheap in CEX. I think it's 5 or 6, might be 4 quid, 4 or 6 quid I think. We've got Crash Dummy, and again this is like a 16-bit style platformer or puzzle platformer, where you control this sort of Crash Dummy guy, and you've got to sort of negotiate the levels. Again, sort of Metroid. I wouldn't say it's Metroidvania, but it's a platform sort of exploration platformer. And you've got to, flip switches to open doors and things like that. Collision detection seems a little bit off, but for the money, I don't think it's a bad little game, to be fair. Quite nice, colourful graphics, big sprites. I don't think you can go wrong for the money, to be honest. Another, again, really retro, 16-bit style. You can't go wrong for the money, in my opinion. Now this where did I get this one from? I think this was CEX as well. Again, really cheap. I think it's 6 quid. And they happen to have one in one of my local shops, so I popped down, picked it up, and we've got BlazBlue. That's a mouthful. Chrono Phantasma Extend. Try saying that quickly. Now I've never had a BlazBlue game. Didn't know what to expect. But on playing it, it's very similar to Guilty Gear actually. It's made by the same people, I believe. Yeah. Another cracking one-on-one fighter. Again, the graphics look fantastic. And again, there's quite a few of these on the PS4, so I'm going to be looking to pick these up as well in the future, the other ones. And again, I think there's a really cheap one and a slightly dearer one in CEX. I'm assuming it's the newer one, what's dear. But again, a cracking one-on-one fighter. And if you like Guilty Gear, I'd say you're going to like this. It seems quite similar to me. But again, another great retro sort of style game. Only that one's obviously got modern PS4 HD graphics. Looks fantastic. Then I've picked up Dead or Alive 5, last round. Now obviously everybody's played Dead or Alive. Fantastic games, and this is no different. I mean, it looks absolutely brilliant. This one's, I think it's around a tenner, this one. Again, CEX. You just can't go wrong with Dead or Alive. I'm on the lookout for Dead or Alive 6 now. But what a cracking game. I mean, it looks brilliant. Plays great. If you like Virtua Fighter, which I do, it's in that mould, isn't it? Dead or Alive, Soul Calibur, Virtua Fighter. Fantastic arcade 3D fighters. You cannot go wrong, especially for the for the money. It's just so cheap. Now this one was kind of, I wasn't on the lookout for this. I didn't even know it existed, to be honest. And again, it was CEX. I was just in a local branch. I'd seen it before, to be honest, and dismissed it. And I've picked up Super Stardust Ultra VR. Now I think I dismissed it because it was VR initially, because I've not got the VR. I don't think my motion sickness would take it, to be honest, but I wouldn't mind trying it, to be fair, if one came along at the right price. But anyway, it was 4 quid in CEX this, and so I thought, well, it's got to be worth trying for 4 quid. Obviously played Stardust on other systems, and what a fantastic game this is. This was a real surprise. Absolutely brilliant. And it had the added bonus, which I didn't know at the time. When you flick the disc in, it says, do you want to play in 3D? I thought, well, why not? I mean, I've you've got to have a 3D TV, obviously. Absolutely phenomenal in 3D. This looks absolutely brilliant. Obviously, the footage isn't going to show the highlight the 3D, but you get the sense of the game. It's obviously a modern version of Mindstorm on the Vectrex, or what's that? That's their version of Galaxies. It's the same game in a modern setting. Twin stick shooter, basically. Phenomenal game this is. For £4, this is brilliant. If you've got a 3D TV and a PS4, honestly, you need to buy this. It's absolutely fantastic. Then this next one, again, I almost bought this for I think it was the Switch years ago. I almost bought this, but I saw a couple of reviews and it kind of put me off, as I remember. But again, now this is really dirt cheap. I think it was CEX again, £4 or £6. What is it? Yoku's Island Express. Now it's a bit of an unusual one. It's kind of a platform game, Metroidvania, I suppose, in a way. But it's kind of crossed with a pinball game, as you'll see from the footage, where your character is kind of pushing a ball around, but you've got flippers within the platform level to enable you to move your character around the screen, which then works kind of like a pinball table. Really unusual, but really top quality game this, in my opinion. It's really liking this. Cracking game. Again, you very retro looking, obviously with nice modern HD graphics. You just can't go wrong for the money this is going for. Honestly, Yoku's Island Express, definitely recommend that one if you like a platformer. Now this one was out of game, again one of their 3 for 2 deals. I was just looking for something to make up the 3, and I've picked up Grid. Now I wasn't sure I was going to like this, to be honest, because modern sort of sim-y racing games, they don't float my boat. They look amazing, but there's none of the arcade gameplay I'm looking for. It's all far too involved. I've only played this briefly, and it's not full-on sim, but it's not an arcade experience either from what I've played. Looks great, don't get me wrong, as you'll see from the footage. Looks fantastic. So I don't know, it might turn out to be good this. Time will tell. I need to play it more, but like I say, it was just to get something, the third game in the 3 for 2 game offer. I bought it. But it does look great, so that's Grid. I'm sure I've got it on something else, to be honest, but it might be the Xbox 360 maybe. I'm sure, but I've never played it on that either. Then next up, this was from Game in the 3 for 2. I think it was at the same time I bought that. Samurai Showdown. Obviously, great game on the Neo Geo. Fantastic. Love the first 2 on that system. But this is obviously a modern one. But honest, the graphics on this, phenomenal. It looks incredible, and it plays just like the original Samurai Showdowns as well. What a great game this is. Loads of blood, if you like that kind of thing, you know, and when you do the hits with the sword, you know how the blood spurts everywhere, stains the clouds. What a brilliant game this is. Ironically, I've seen it cheaper since I bought this in the 3 for 2 in game. I actually saw it for £4.99. I mean, what a steal it is at that price. I wish I'd waited in a way, but you know, with a 3 for 2, I've probably paid a tenner for this, you know, with the 3 combined price, or you know, when you work it out. But even so, fantastic game. If you like one-on-one fighters, you must buy that. Then again, this was a 3 for 2 in game, and again it's cheap. I think it's about £4. And Radial G Racing Revolved. Now it's one of these VR games again, but like the other one, it's only compatible with, it's not essential. And essentially this is like a F-Zero Wipeout clone. Obviously it's not as good as them two. Well, to be fair, I'm not mad at Wipeout. So, you know, if you like that kind of thing, I think this is more playable than Wipeout, to be fair. It's more like F-Zero. It's not as brutal as Wipeout. So for like £4, you know, this is really good if you like that kind of thing. You know, it's fairly smooth and fast, and it controls well. It looks it don't look anything amazing, but it looks reasonable. But you know, for £4, and it is quite. There's lots of game modes. You know, you can have it combat, or you can have it straight out racing, or there's like something called a deathmatch or duel or elimination or something like that. There's a few game modes you can play it in anyway, and for the money, honestly, there's such bargains on the PS4, and this is another one. Radial G, £4 in game. This is another one that's an absolute bargain in CX. This one, I think it's £4 again. I had this when it first came out on the Switch, funnily enough. When I hardly got any Switch games, and you was just desperate to play something when it came out, because it was soon after launch this come out, and I picked it up, but then sold it later on. But then since I've been on this shooter kick recently, which you probably might be aware of, I thought I've got to get this back, and £4 in CEX. They had actually got it in my local one, and I didn't buy it for some stupid reason. So I ended up buying this online and paying the £2 postage. But even so, it's cheaper than eBay. Sign more at EX. It's your basic shooter in many ways. Graphics are really nice, I think. Got a lovely 3D feel. It's horizontal shooter in like sort of old-fashioned biplanes, and you know, aeroplane based. It looks really nice. The interesting mechanic here is you've got like a time gauge, and to enable yourself to be able to continue playing the game, you've got to shoot down enemies to increase your time gauge. And because if your time gauge runs out, you die, and you've got to sort of start again. So it's an interesting and unusual mechanic, I'd say. But again, this plays really well. I seem to remember it slowed down on the Switch, but I could be wrong. Let me know. Is my memory right there? Does the Switch version slow down? But this doesn't seem to, or not what I've played so far. But again, £4 in CX. This is an absolute steal for me. What a bargain. Sign more. 2 to go. You can't get much more retro than this one. CEX seems to be the cheapest place you can buy this. Unfortunately, I've never seen it in one of my local ones, and I've got it on the app saved, and I've never seen it in any local shop, else I would have gone to fetch it. So I ended up buying this one online as well, paying the £2 postage, because it still worked out much cheaper than you can buy it on eBay. And we've got Alex Kidd. Now obviously this is a remake of the Master System game, Alex Kidd in Miracle World, and the great thing is you can switch between modern graphics and original 8-bit graphics just at the flick of the trigger, as you'll see in the footage. Cracking really way to go about it. But what I really like about this game, and I was chuffed when it came from CEX because it was in lovely condition, it comes with a Master System style manual, and you can also have a reversible, it's got a reversible cover. The disc is also like Master System cart labels, and the cover you can alternate to a Master System style cover as well. And like I say, it was in lovely condition when it came, so absolutely chuffed with that. It's just as frustrating as Alex Kidd was on the Master System, but nevertheless, this, I was saying, yeah, this is so cheap in CEX. I think it's 10 or 12 quid. What a bargain. You know, you can't go wrong. You must pick it up really if you're into retro. Another amazing retro game on the PS4. They're just coming thick and fast, and I can't believe what a fantastic system it is for retro. Now the last one we've got today, again very retro, And again, another Master System remake or remaster, and we've got Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap. This was from Game. Again, it was cheaper in Game than anywhere else that I could find, much cheaper than CEX and eBay. I think, I can't remember now, was it 12 quid? Oh, it was 15 quid, but it was on the 3 for 2. So, you know, with similar price games, you know, you're talking a tenner on the 3 for 2 from Game. And it's far more than that in CEX and eBay. And again, it works just the same as Alex Kidd. You can play with the modern HD graphics, and the flick of the trigger, you're back to 8-bit style, as I'll show in the footage. Now it's not a game I've ever played on the Master System. I know it's Retro Red Steve's favourite game, which I'm going to have a go and see why he likes it so much. But for 10 quid, or net 10 quid, absolute bargain. I mean, you've got to love Wonder Boy, haven't you? You can't get much more retro than that either. And again, this one's got a nice reversible cover, which I do like when you can do that. So there we go. That's yet another retro inspired PS4 game. And that's the lot we've got today. But I'll be buying some more. I'm still on the lookout. I have got another couple I haven't tried yet, which I'll save for a future episode. But there we go. Anybody got any other tips for retro PS4 games? Be delighted to hear if there's anything I've not yet picked up. If you want to drop it down in the comments, be great to hear any suggestions of something retro inspired, or you know, that kind of thing. Please let me know. But there we go. Well and truly riding the Sony pony this last couple of weeks. And although I'm, you know, not moving away from retro, you know, it'll back to that next time. I'm certainly going to be on the lookout for more of these PS4 beauties. But thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks to any new subscribers. Very kind of you, much appreciated. Hope you enjoyed that video, and we'll see you on the next one. Sayonara.